Hey guys, how you all doing? Listen, I'm afraid I have some bad news. It's a bear market time again. Just like I told you here back on the 30th of December 2024, I told you it was time to sell. I'm afraid it's time to sell again because I'm noticing the same patterns that I saw on the 30th of December 2024. I'm seeing it all over again, and let's just quickly go through them. The first thing obviously is we've done not just a double top, but actually a triple top. So it's a head and shoulders pattern, extremely bearish. We lost this support here at 4K, dipped below. We are revisiting it, but it looks like it's going to turn into resistance and looks like we're heading further down. Now, I do know there are some bullish catalysts ahead of us, like the Clarity Act coming up, like the Treasury Company, Ethereum Treasury Company coming up, and we have also Solana Treasury Companies coming up and all that sort of stuff. So that's the positive catalyst that we have. However, we are very late in the cycle, guys. The 4-year cycle ends in Q4 of 2025. So we need to be very, very careful. When I see a bearish pattern like this play out, I become extremely careful. So what I personally have done is I have exited the market nearly entirely, and I will be playing the following game. So I have sold here once we cross back over 4, because I do believe it's the last chance to sell to get out of the market at a decent price. Once we lose 4 again, we go down to 3.6, maybe 3.2. We're going to be in no man's zone, and it's going to be very hard to know what to do. This was still a good point to get out because now I still have options. So let's go through what my options are. So let's consider this drops down to the next support, which is currently at 3,600. I can actually re-enter here, save myself 10%, and see if the thing bounces up. If it does not bounce up, I will be having a stop loss at my entry position. So I will have very little risk re-entry. And if it goes down and stops me out, that's fine, because if this is going to go down, we are selling rips, guys. We are no longer buying dips. That's why I sold this rip here. It is a minor rip, but I sold it. I didn't sell here. I waited for the rip, and now I sold because this is a good point to sell. Now, if we go above this and we reestablish new support, that's fine. I'm not doing anything between here and the current all-time high at about 4,900. If Ethereum manages to break 4,900 and let's say goes up here, whatever, and then retests the support and then bounces up, this is where I'm going to be going in again. So I'm going back either here, let's put it like this, or I'm going back at about 3,600. So these are my current possible plays. So this is just very roughly. Let me just grab this thing here. Let's go down to 3,600. That's where the 21-week EMA is currently. So roughly here. So there are two possible scenarios where I re-enter. So one is we go down, 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 and we confirm as support. This is going to be my re-entry and stop loss, or this is going to be my re-entry and stop loss. So I'm going to get all of the upside. If I'm wrong and things continue upwards, I'm going to be missing this part here, which is roughly 25%, which I am happy to give up in exchange for not losing potential 10% upside, which I can increase my position by 10% if I catch it at 3,600, or potentially if it keeps going down to maybe lower 3,200 or maybe even lower. So I'm going to be, this is a large space where I can wait and bide my time and see what happens with the current geopolitical situations that is very, very insecure, with the potential government shutdown coming up, which could just get really, really ugly. All right, so now let's go over the reasons why I have decided to exit beyond just the very obvious situation here. There have been many other reasons that I have decided to exit. What I have noticed, we have experienced a blow off top on the alts, and that is never a good thing. So let's analyze the blow off top. Let's go back to the 1 month and we see what happened with Solana. Went from 200 to 250 all the way back down. All right, it seems to be climbing back up again, but again, it's an opportunity to sell the rip. We've seen the exact same thing. Okay, BNB is a bit of an outlier in this case. BNB also had a blow off top, as you can see, but not as much, and it's already back at 1K. So a bit of an outlier. However, Hyperliquid, let's go to 1 month. Again, 60 all the way down to 40. Guys, we cannot ignore these kind of drawdowns. These kind of drawdowns are very bearish. Avalanche, 1 month, same, blow off top, went from only 24 all the way to 36 and all the way back down to 28. So again, recovering, but this is an opportunity to get out at a decent price. Sui, 1 month, again, 3.2, almost up to 4, almost back up to its all-time high. Well, all-time high is 5, but we've been rejected for once, twice, 3 times, guys. 3 times rejected at 4. So it's not something to be ignored. And the other aspect I noticed is we've had a bunch of these new things come out and just do incredible rips from 50 cents all the way to $2. That sounds a little bit euphoric to me. I know we don't see the typical euphoria I would see at the top of the bull market, but the situation is no longer typical. This has become a much bigger asset. Things don't just work the same way as they used to. It's a much older asset. It's a much more mature space in general, crypto. So we can't expect to have the same sort of retail euphoria we used to have back in 2016, 17, 18, and then again at 20 and 21. That's just not going to happen. We need to be more careful this time. The signal is not going to be as obvious as it used to be. So I know there is no retail mania, but we did have kind of our own local little blow off top right there. Plasma, another example, a huge $2 billion market cap, and then just climbed from 0.8 to 0.6. That's like 100% in a few days. But the other coin I'm also watching for quite a while now is Kaspa, because Kaspa had its peak all the way back in August of 2024, and since then it's been going down. Guys, altcoins have been really underperforming this season. It's only been select few that have done well. Most of them have done very poorly. Again, another bit of euphoria here. We have Pump Fund launched at about 5 cents. Is it 5? Well, let's call it 5 cents, whatever, 005. Went all to 007. This is where I sold after the pre-sale. Went all the way down to 3 and all the way up to nearly 9. Like, it just tripled. So this is a little bit of a blow off top as well. And we cannot ignore the fact that Ethereum has been on a tear. Ethereum, if we look at it in terms of a daily, we've been on a tear since hold on, actually I need to show you a longer period here. Since April, this has been a very long expansion cycle. Then we've done a triple top, and now we've lost key support. Guys, if the Titanic turns, right, it doesn't turn quickly, but once it turns, it's not going to turn back up very quickly either. So I do think Q4 might not be as bullish as we expected. So we just need to be careful because we're late in the cycle. Don't expect this time to be different, okay? I mean, the cycle certainly is different, but not as majorly different that I would abandon the 4-year cycle. I know they're coming up with all sorts of excuses, bulls currently, business cycle, etc., etc. But guys, on general, Trump has not been good for crypto. He's been good for certain parts of crypto, but not crypto in general. We've seen in January when he came into office, here, 20th January, it pretty much just was downhill since then. Okay. So, and then these sort of treasury companies caused this sort of a bull run, but I do think it's ended. So we do need to be careful here, guys. That's why you need to keep an eye. These two scenarios, we can still get back in and even gain an extra 10%, or we can lose 20% and then take the rest of the upside. But I personally am going to sit this out and just going to watch it and see what happens, because I do feel the balance of risk to reward has shifted to risk off, not risk on, especially with the government shutdown, American government shutdown possibly coming up in just the next couple of days. Okay, so this is going to be a great excuse for them to dump it down to 3.6, and we can just get in here, get an extra 10% in Ether, and then decide what to do with pretty much zero risk, because if it goes back here and it stops us out, that's fine. We've lost nothing, as opposed to waiting for this and losing another 10%. All right, guys, that's it from me. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, drop a like, drop a sub, and I will see you in my next video.